The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's System Admin webinar. It's on WeEstimate, the Plan Configuration and Review. My name is Brandon Vieira, and joining me today is Stephen Nasty, who will be instructing us through. After this webinar, you will be able to understand the use of the commission module, create a commission plan, define commission rules and payments, assign commission plans to users, and track and manage user commission using the commission URG. As always, we want you to get the most out of your time today. So if you have questions at any time throughout the webinar, don't be shy. Just type them right into the chat, even if it's because we've gone too fast and you want to see or hear something again. We have lots to go through, so let's jump right into it.
Awesome. Thank you, Brandon. Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's webinar. Like Brandon had mentioned, today we're going to be talking a lot about commissions. So we're going to be kind of going through the actual kind of ins and outs of the module, going through how to create a commission plan, also kind of going through the nitty gritty of it, going through what each rule, each payment means, what it can do. And then really also kind of wrapping up with assigning commission plans to yourself as well as others, and also managing the like manager rights to see who you have access over and who you can see. Lastly, the last little piece right there, as Brendan had mentioned, is kind of going through our commission erg, which is one of the reporting grids that we have available. And you can also see you can have a breakdown of commissions and commissioned amounts for what each user has, as well as go ahead and mark each of those paid. So as always, this webinar will be recorded and will be posted later on today and available for all attendees and everybody that signed up, which is great. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started here. So with commissions, we're going to go into tools, and then we have our commission setup. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to kind of go through how to create a commission plan, and then also show you some finalized plans. Now, just as always with commissions and approvals and a lot of these modules that we have, what can be done is entirely up to you. You might want to have a more complex commission plan, or you might want to have something that's a little more simplified. So the first thing to note is that with commissions in the commission tab setup, we're really going to be focusing on this commission systems tab. We're not really going to go into national accounts or the bonus tabs today. So with commission systems, you're going to see on the left-hand side a full list of all of the commission systems within your plan, within your system. So the first thing to do here is to click on Add. So we'll go ahead and just call this Cash Basic Plan. Go ahead and click on OK. So what this is going to do is once we create a plan, it's going to change the interface just a little bit because now we're working with a particular plan. So the important thing to know with commissions is that you're going to kind of be working, after you create the commission plan, you're going to be working from right to left. So you're going to be starting here at the rate plan configuration. So typically speaking, what this tab does is this is your sliding scale. So if you have a commission plan, I'll show you some examples here that we created. So these are our sliding scales. So you can basically say, if I'm going to pay a flat percentage of a commission, then I want to tie it to a GP. You can create a sliding scale to say I want 2.5% paid. Let me make this not grayed out so you can see it a little better. But you can say the max here or default is going to be 7%, and I want to pay based off of GP, and I want to pay this sliding scale breakdown. So with the sliding scale, and I'll go ahead and cancel out of this so you can see it a little bit better, and I'll create a brand new one for you. We can go ahead and just call it, anything here. We'll just call it new sliding scale. I click on OK. So once we create a brand new plan, it's going to basically give us that entire window that we had seen before. So default max value, this is basically the maximum amount. Once we'll add some sliding rate to sliding scale amounts, we'll be able to select something there. Minimum amount and maximum amount, these are values that you can set to say I only want to pay commissions if a certain threshold is hit. So you can say minimum of $100, $100 job. And for a maximum, there might not be a case where there's a maximum amount, but you might just say maybe $1 million. With the percent of, you can select total sale, which is pretty standard. You can select your GP dollars, GP material, RMR, or your MPV. So we'll keep it on total sale for right now. When you have your percent of, you're able to select the next column here, your range type. So this is basically going to say, your total sale, but what do you want the sliding scale to be based off of? So you can select, GPM percent, GP dollars, total sale amount, whatever it is. So the easiest to kind of show this with is your GPM percent. Multiplier, you can select a multiplier for the job based off of either GP or GP material sales, or you can just leave this blank. So profit. So the profit percentage, this is where you're going to be starting the commission plan portion. So we'll start with maybe 20%, pays 7% commission. Click on the plus. 25 pays 8% commission. 39, 35, 10. Keep it simple. So this is entirely totally optional, but this is something that we allow you to do. So if you want to create a sliding scale, you can simply just type it in this way to give a sliding scale based off of a couple of different qualifiers. Once you're done with that, go ahead and click on the Save Rule. Once you click on that, you'll see on the side here that the new sliding scale plan has been added all the way at the bottom. Okay. So payment configuration, kind of moving over. Payment configuration, this is a tab that is basically telling you, okay, now that we have a sliding scale, or if you're totally not using that, which is perfectly fine, it's an optional thing, what are we paying? So we'll go ahead and we'll just click on the plus. Let's call this cash payment plan. No, actually, we'll keep it configuration. Just keep the naming convention the same. Click on OK. So once we add this, you're going to see we have the chance to add a rate plan, which is the sliding scale that we had added. So we have our new sliding scale. From this, we basically say, what are we paying our commissions on? Like, what is the calculation going to be based off of? So for this, we're going to go to our payment settings. We can either say a direct amount, which is just a flat. Here you go. This is your commission dollar amount. Or we can do percent of. So generally speaking, percent of is what people generally like to do. And we'll give this just an arbitrary number. Let's see, it should be like 12. 12 should be fine. Again, you can also do different factors here, different variables. So you can do total sale, RMR, GP dollars, materials, labor, TCV, RMR, so on and so forth. So for ease, we'll just keep it on total sale. Again, we have our multipliers. We do GP or GP based off material sell only. And the same amount here carries over. So we can set our minimum amount. So let's say we don't want to pay commissions on any job that's under $100. And maximum amount, I mean, I don't see the harm, but maybe we have you don't want to pay anything over $1 million. For this, we're not going to use our sliding scale, just because I wanted to keep this as simple as possible for the demo. So go ahead and we'll click on Save, and I'll add the plan. So we'll see the plan gets added onto the bottom here. The next thing to do is to set the actual rule itself. So now that we know what amount is getting paid, we want to know, well, how do we pay it? Or is there any sort of qualifier for that? So again, we'll go here, click on the Add button. We'll select, let's call this cash rule. Sure, that's not okay. Click on OK. Now, this is basically going to tell us how are we going to calculate the payments. We know what we're paying off of, but what exactly are we going to be doing to get the calculation? So in order for this to trigger, we want our sales amount to be greater than $1. What this is basically telling the system is if you're using the approvals module, think of this as the variables, right, that you need to have, where you're basically saying if if the job has this, then send it to this person. Is the best kind of the closest thing that I can say to this. So basically all this is saying is, yeah, if the job is greater than $1, let's go through the commission. Let's pay 12% of the total sell price. With this dropdown, you have the option to either select, sorry, I thought I saw a question come in. No, I didn't. Okay. You have the option to either select during or job. So why this is important is you can select different payment plans per different quarters. So you can say, I want to have this payment be effective for this quarter, this month, this year, within the next 30, 60, 90 days. So a lot of times what people do for this is they'll have different sort of payment structures that are broken out for different plans. But 9 times out of 10, people will just use the job time frame. What that does is that just basically clears out the during portion and it just focuses strictly on the job. On the bottom portion here, you'll see that there is 3 different tabs. You can set to basically say if any of these are turned on, then the rule will also automatically trigger. So if you have a type of sale, a job type, or a particular package within your system, you basically want to say pay the payment configure pay the payment configuration that we set up, so the 12% of total sell, if and only if any of these, if this is true, or if any of these qualifiers match. So you basically say, I want it to be if these are selected, then I want my approval to be flagged. Or you can say I want, job type to be selected, or same thing with packaging. So this can get as granular as you want it to be, to say I only want commissions to pay if these things are met, if these qualifications are met, or you can keep it just standard to say it's always on if the job is more than $1. I'll go ahead and click on save. Rule clusters. So rule clusters, I always get a little hungry thinking of cereal whenever I go to this tab, is you have the option to basically add a cluster. So basically what this does is this is basically saying, let's take the payment configuration, let's take the rule configuration, and let's cluster it all together, and let's put it into one package. So we'll call this new. We'll click on the little green plus, click on new. And then we'll go ahead and just call this cache cluster. And basically what we're going to see now is we're going to see all of the payment rules that are within the system. So these are all the things that exist within our software. So we're going to go ahead and scroll down to find cache rule and click on the green plus. Now again, this could be as complex or as simple as you want it to be. You could add multiple here. So you can say, I want this to match, something else to match. You can add a couple different qualifiers there. There's no limit to that. And then also for the payment plan, we're going to find the one that we've added. It should be labeled as cash payment. Here you go, cash payment configuration. Click on the green plus, beautiful. So now this is starting to come together now. This is when a lot of what we were talking about makes some sense. You'll see at the very top that it'll say the cash rule is, we'll make this a little bigger, sales is greater than $1 on the job. This start date is going to be kind of a default value where it's just the year, just because we didn't select anything. We have no RMR operators, no RMR terms. And then we have on the bottom here, we have our payment configuration. If this is true, then pay this. So that's the kind of the best way to think about it. So if the sales is greater than $1 on the job, then pay a total of 12% of the total sell amount. Okay. Lastly, in terms of the commission setup, the only thing you need to know here is that these are kind of your checkboxes. A lot of these, something to note, just to keep in the back of your mind, a lot of this screen is going to be going away with 6.9 and later builds. So I'm kind of going to go around what's changing here. I'm not really going to go into that too much until we have the brand new interface available. The only thing that I would say to note here is that you can do one of two things. You can either charge the customer. So if you are an organization that you charge the commission amounts to a customer, you would just have to put a value here to say, 1. So charge to the customer after $1, or people just keep it as like a penny or something along those lines. So it automatically adds the to the cell type, to the cell total. You can also charge to the job. So you can say, I want to add this to the job costing as well. Sometimes people do it. Sometimes people say, no, as an organization, we just pay it out internally. We don't have to factor into the job. If you want that to factor in, you can do one of two ways. So this is up top is your to sell. Down here is for cost. Everything else here, I wouldn't really pay too much attention to. This top section is going to be completely redone on the later builds. Manager override is going to be reworked, as well as hierarchy manager overrides and folder level evaluation. All this stuff here is going to be changing in the next major build. So I don't really want to focus too much on that because it might be out of date. Okay. And then lastly, we have our system overview. So from here, we're going to just look at the cluster that we had made. Cache cluster. We click and drag it over. And here is our plan. So basically what this is doing is this is taking the payment configuration, the rule configuration, merging them together into the cluster, and then we then assign the cluster to our commission plan. So I know that's really complex, but I'm hoping that kind of by chunking it out makes a little bit more sense. So also with this, as you just saw, I'll bring it up one more time. So the end cluster selected for this commission plan is not properly set. So if you're familiar with approvals and you're familiar with kind of like the logic that we use, it's important to just have the logic always end with end. So basically what these basically mean, if you're not familiar with it, is we have and, or, end, or, end, and then end. Basically what these plans mean, in essence, is finish up, basically stop looking at the logic wherever it says end. So for this, we only have the one line, so we just want to toggle this to end. If we had a couple different clusters here, and I'll show you a plan that has a couple different ones, you can select and you can drag another cluster over to say, use this cluster, and then end. So for this, if you only have the one line, you go ahead and click on end. Force eval will automatically change to default, which we'll leave it as for now. And we'll go ahead and finish up with our approval system. So that is how to create an approval system kind of from start to finish. Now, like I said before, approval systems, generally speaking, are as simple or complex as you want them to be. So that is just really one line ending it over. But we'll go ahead and take a look at another commission system so you can see a little bit more of like a bulk plan. So we'll go ahead and we'll just click on Sam, who's our sales director, and she's one of our account managers, and she's fantastic at doing this stuff. So what she did was she went ahead and created a commission plan. She also has a sliding scale, where you can see she has it broken out just a little more granular than I do. She has kind of every 2% and then one big jump at the end for 5%. She's a very similar type than me. Oops, sorry, show you this portion here. Her clusters here are broken out by a couple different types. So she has a commission plan that's solely based off of RMR. So she has RMR values here. So as you can see, she has a couple different qualifiers here. And all these have different kind of lines where they say, if the RMR is less than a penny to, this dollar amount, pay 250% or whatever it may be. And she has this broken out. So you can have as many clusters as you'd like. Okay. And then lastly, what we'll do is we'll just go ahead and make sure that my user is assigned to that commission system. So we'll go to Tools, System Configuration. We'll find my profile here. We'll go to Commissions. I'll go ahead and change this to the bottom here. So cash basic plan. So to assign a profile in a commission plan, you just have to make sure you go to the commissions tab over here, and then make sure you find the commission plan from the dropdown. And then the last little thing to know from this is you just want to make sure that you have the commission rates checkbox enabled. If use default rates is on, the commission rate won't pay. So we'll select the commission rate plan rates, excuse me. Go ahead and click on save. Something also to note with this is in People Manager, you're going to be able to see other people's commission plans as well. So if you want to see, let's take a branch that has people in it. White Plains should have a bunch. So with this, if you expand any person's profile within People Manager, you'll see that there's a commissions checkbox. If you turn that on, you'll be able to view their commissions as well. So if you're a manager and you want to be able to view what other people are making, calculating, and then kind of what we'll go into in a little bit here with the commission erg, you just want to make sure that the commissions checkbox is turned on to give you viewership of their information. So I'll just go ahead and turn on Jack and Joe. Everybody else should be okay. Beautiful. And again, just as a quick reminder, tools, system configuration, find your user setup, commissions, find your commission plan, click on use default plan rates, and then click on save. Okay. So one more thing, and then we'll pause for questions, is just going ahead and click on the Start New Project button. So we'll just call this Glens Gardens new site. I will select our market there, job type, system type. Find our customer here. Select our data lists. Okay. So now that we have a commission plan assigned to us, we'll see that on the far right tab, we'll have a commissions window. So right now we have no commissions, just because there's nothing on the job. So let's go ahead and add some parts. Back to our project view. Okay, so we had 10 parts, have a total sell of 47,000. Go to our commissions. And you click on this refresh commissions button. So we have one or two different things you can do. You can have commissions automatically refresh on their own, which does make the job a little slower. It's something that we kind of encourage people to just leave it so that the refresh button is there. So when you click on the refresh commissions button, you'll have the job refresh the commissions, and right now we have our grand total of 12% of our total sell. And that's really all there is to commissions. So I do have the commission erg to show you guys, but I just wanted to ask if kind of pause here, see if there's any questions from anybody. It's generally pretty straightforward, but I know that the tabs can get a little confusing and some of the terminology is a little confusing. So just want to see if there's any questions before I kind of go to that last checkbox there. Okay, awesome. I don't see anything coming in. Okay, so with this, the last thing that I wanted to show you with commissions is our commissions erg. So kind of right in the middle here of our universal reporting grid and our reports tab, we have our commission erg. So we go ahead and click on that. We have very similar to our regular erg, we have filters. So we can select our won, lost, or void. We can select our quarters, our payments, where we can see if they're fully paid, partially paid, marked to pay, okay to pay. Then we can also lastly see the salespeople that we want to view. So we'll turn on Joe and Jack, since I know those are very common users for our demo purposes. So as you can see here with that, we have all of our jobs that we had created that are all tied to our commission plan. So if you want to scroll down here, we can see everything that we had done. Scroll over, you can see, close date, post-approval date, who the salesperson was, quoted price. Everything here is very similar to what the ERG generally looks like, although there are a lot of kind of custom tabs to this window. The only thing that's important to know here is that if you ever were to expand any of these jobs, you'll see who the owner is. So I got it here by just clicking on this little plus sign. You can see who the owner is and who's getting paid the commission. If there's a commission split, you have the option to see it here. You can also then change the percentage amount, what the commission dollar amount is, what it is from the final sale, and the RMR broken out by, and then the 100% to pay. So you can go ahead and select this paid, which will then change the coloration to mark it as you've been paid. You have this OK to pay, which basically clears it out for you if you want to, and you won't be able to select the paid. But if you're marked to pay it over, it changes the coloration of the actual line. You're also going to have some notes if you want to leave a note. Page on. It'll give you the commission plan they're a part of, and then also kind of a brief description of when the what the payment description is, as well as when the last status was changed. So the status was changed by today because I just went ahead and I changed it to paid. The commission ERG, like the other ERG, can also be exported to Excel. So it's there for you if you just want to have another kind of option to take a look at reporting. But generally speaking, what a lot of our clients do is they use the commission ERG to pay out or else help keep track of what commissions have been paid out and kind of run that that weekly report to see what amounts are due, what amounts are owed, as well as what's been paid out. But okay, guys. Anything else in terms of questions? That was really all I had on my end. Relatively quick webinar from today. Again, commissions are, since it's a module, a lot of the times it's something that can be, very dependent on who you're presenting to. So some of you might have a complex plan, some of you might have more of a simplistic plan. So hopefully with this, you got kind of the gist of how to start, what the terminology means, and how to kind of create a basic commission plan to kind of go from there. Now, of course, we always have tools that we offer in terms of anybody that might need the additional help. We do have, project managers that help with building commission plans out, kind of go through the nitty gritty, as well as the formulas and things like that. So if you are working on a more complex commission plan, you need the help, feel free to let me know or, let your account manager know. I'd be more than happy to set up some time with you guys. But yeah, that's everything on my end, guys. So there's no further questions. Brandon, I'll turn it over to you to wrap up and let us know what's coming next time.
Thank you, Steve. And thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Hopefully you're comfortable with what we reviewed. If you need to refer to this webinar again, it will be posted on our website by around this time tomorrow, hopefully sooner, but worst case tomorrow, under the training webinars page, under the education menu. Next week on November 21st is our sales user webinar, and that will be on finance and lease sales, and we will be discussing our dealer ally integration. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Thank you, everybody. Take care.